We are returning to the story of the morning because Afra Keogh, Eimear Lambe, Fiona Murtagh and Emily Hegarty are Ireland's first medalists at Tokyo 2020. Their bronze medal this morning. An incredible moment, the best moment of the game so far for Ireland. One of those people will have been delighted with the scenes they saw, watching it I'm sure all night long, was Noel Lambe, father of Eimear. Noel, good morning to you. How are you keeping?
Good morning. Yeah, fine, good.
Talk us through where you were this morning. How did you get up in the middle of the night? Are you still up? How did the celebrations go?
No, we watched it in their club, their former club where they all started rowing, which is in Commercial down there at Island Bridge. We just watched it with some friends, nicely social distance evening, and it was very exciting, I think the way the race went, they were struggling a little bit. At one stage they were at fifth, and certainly the gold and silver had been pretty well decided. So to come back from where they were to grab the bronze was a tremendous effort from the girls, and I guess it showed the way they were able to hold it together, knowing what they had to do, and they did it, and it shows the speed and the power that they do have in the boat. So it was very exciting, made it a very exciting race.
Before this morning, Noel, when did you realise that this was a boat that had a chance of doing something special?
Well, they had the achievements of the European silver and so on, and they came very close to the Dutch in that final. And certainly it showed us when they really matched the Australians for speed in the heat and the qualifier. So it was really then we'd be like going out there. We were saying it wouldn't be marvellous if they made it through to the final, because that would be quite an achievement in itself. But when we seen the way that they got there against the Australians, you started to believe that there was a possibility that they could actually come back with something, and they've done that, I suppose, in the end. And they're a relatively new crew, and they're quite a young crew, so you would think that if they hold together, that they could do something maybe in 24.
Have you been speaking to Eimear this morning?
We spoke to her soon after the race. It was great to be able to talk to her, for a few minutes. She was very excited about it, and I was really looking forward now to seeing her home,
Did she tell you how the celebrations are going to go down?
No, it was just a kind of a quick video call. She showed us the medal, and that was really it. There was a lot going on, so it was difficult to have a conversation, but I'm sure later today we'll be in touch.
It seems that from her own perspective, having someone like Claire in the house, having that example can only have been a positive thing over the last little while, because of course Claire was part of the first crew to make an Olympic final in the women's division in 2016. Yeah,
that's right. Yeah, well, Eimear has three sisters, and they all rowed with Commercial, and then went on to their different colleges and stuff like that. But certainly, yeah, Claire would have been a good example of how to knuckle down and how to deal with the adversity that comes along. Like, you have your moment in the sun, I suppose, if you're fortunate enough to get on the podium. But there's more downs than up. Like with any sport, I think certainly at that level, it's certainly character building, all right. There's no two ways about it.
Noel, to go back to the race itself this morning, at what point during the race did you go from thinking a medal could be a possibility to a medal is happening, and what was the reaction like at that moment?
I think we felt by the first 1,000 metres, we really thought that something had gone wrong. They really weren't putting it together. But from the 1,000 metres on, you could see the speed coming back into the boat and closing down the other crews. And at that stage, I was just hoping they wouldn't run out of water. And certainly the battle, the excitement in that race, well, okay for us, but anybody sort of neutral watching, I think would have been the race for the bronze between themselves and the UK, the way they had to overhaul them from quite a bit of a distance. And the way they were able to knuckle down and get that boat speed up, I think it was amazing, you know.
What seems remarkable about this crew as well, Noel, is where they've all come from. 2 from Galway, 1 from Dublin, 1 from Skibbereen. And can you talk to us a little bit about how this crew came together over the last few years? I know that they're quite a tight-knit crew. In terms of them coming together, not from the same rowing club, how long a process was that, and how quickly did it come together when they eventually realised, oh, hold on, this is a formula that actually works?
I find it hard to be hard for me to say that. I think the management team put them together. They obviously seen the potential, and like for a good while they weren't even say training together, and they were sort of training to a program somewhat separately. And then when they went to Inishkara, they started to put them together, and it was then, I suppose, that they gelled really as a crew a little over less than 2 years ago, you know.
Yeah, and I guess since then, really, it's just been this amazing journey for them. And you look at the age profile as well of this crew. I mean, now is the moment to be enjoyed. Nobody's thinking about the future, but I'm sure there have been talks about what happens beyond Tokyo, because they are a young crew and they're getting consistently better, as you say, over the course of those last 2 years.
Yeah, that's true. They are a relatively young crew. I mean, Eimear and Emily, I think, are only around 23, and like Afric is about 27-ish, so thereabouts. Fiona's a bit younger again. So, like, when you look at the, say, Australian crew, they're all in their very late 20s. And certainly they are a crew that would get better. And the fact that they seem to gel together as personalities is very important. If you are going to start to stick around and keep at it, that's an important factor, I think, into the future, you know.
You mentioned there that it's not just Eimear and Claire who were the rowers in the family. Just how competitive was it between all the siblings?
Well, they were all at different sort of stages. Our eldest daughter, she was the first one to start rowing. She rowed as a junior for Ireland and that. So it was always going to be sort of their sport. We tried them around, you know, pretty well every sport you can think of. And rowing just seemed to be the one, because I've no background in it. My wife has no background in rowing. And that was the one that they really seemed to enjoy and took up the challenge in. And sort of, what can I say, the rest is history, you know.
So what sparked you to bring him down to the rowing club the first day then, if you've got no background in it?
Yeah, well, my wife actually, the eldest daughter, it was summer holidays. You're trying to think of things to keep your children occupied, I suppose. And the Municipal Rowing Club ran a summer camp. And one of the guys that was doing the coaching there was from Commercial. And he sort of seen potential in our eldest girl. And he asked, was she interested in coming down and trying out with Commercial? She did. And sort of the rest of them follow through that gate, if you like, you know.
Brilliant.
So, Commercial was their original club.
Noel, how proud are you this morning?
I'm very happy for her and for the rest of the girls that all the work that they put in has kind of given them the moment now that they're having, and I hope they enjoy it and make the most of it.
So what are the next couple of days going to entail then? I presume a couple of celebrations this evening?
We will, yeah. We see friends and family, and she'll be home, I think, the weekend. It's one of the big cities, unlike when Claire was in Rio. You could sort of savour the experience of meeting with our athletes, and when you went to dine in the morning, you were in the cafeteria and you could be looking across the table at Usain Bolt or some of these people, whereas it's a bubble now. They're not going to see Japan. A few days there would have been nice, but it's very much in, do the job and leave, you know. And that's a pity, but the main thing is that they were able to get there after all that work, because it would have been dreadful for all those athletes that if the whole thing had been postponed or called off for another year or so. I'm really happy for anybody that's out there, whatever nationality or sport they're involved in, to have had at least that experience for all the work they would have put in.
Yeah.
You know, and that's a positive.
For sure.
Absolutely, for sure.
I think the celebrations will kick on another gear once they actually touch down in Ireland once again. Listen, Noel, thanks so much for taking the call this morning. I'm sure you're absolutely knackered, and congratulations to you and all the family. It's an absolutely brilliant story.
Thanks very much. You're very good.